And welcome into the Thursday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody's off to a wonderful start on this Thursday morning. Joe Rexrode, how we doing?
Doing just fine. I don't really have anything else to add to that.
Well, that's good.
I'm doing okay. Yeah. It's all right. It's kind of cold out there.
Got your laptop figured out. You got a cursor that will allow you to always be able to see it, thanks to Paul Kuharski. A lot of good things going on in your life.
Yeah, boy, that cursor, man, that thing is it is massive. But I got to say, he actually did help me navigate. And then Ian started showing me some stuff in the pre-show meeting that's like way advanced for me. But yeah, maybe someday.
Ian Safar, Paul Kuharski, member of our IT team.
That's right.
Ian, how we doing?
Good morning. Yeah, like
what a coworker you got.
I forgot Joe mentioned that at the beginning of the show, and I was a little bit confused on what he was trying to discuss, and then I kind of forgot. And anyways, I could have helped him out there. But yeah, doing good, Joe.
So what is that called? So what is that called? That's called
scroll.
It's called not the slider. They call the scroll.
Yeah, okay. Like the trackpad you got there, and to scroll, you just use the two fingers.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the actual web page and hit the down arrow button with the click.
I mean, did you know this?
I mean, I've never in my life owned a Mac.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's not a PC thing. So it's wild to me that just like
I guess.
I mean, what if you have really fat fingers? You know. Like if a
you
person
can't fit two fingers
up
on,
a little bit.
You can't fit two fingers on the trackpad that big, huh?
Well, no,
like Shrek.
No, what I'm saying, could be, yeah, but like if you're a person, if it perceives that this must be two fingers because it's such a fat finger, you know what I mean? I'm just wondering. I don't know. Like I'd love to know how
this person is massive. They must have two fingers on this pad.
Like, what does four fingers do? With I mean,
Have you tried to find out?
I haven't tried. I'm afraid, but it's an interesting
don't
question.
worry. We'll call Kuharski if something breaks.
Yeah,
I'm stunned he figured it out.
I know. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. He's showing me technical stuff.
Well, if John Glennon ever shows you some technical stuff, that's when you're in serious trouble.
Oh, God. Yeah, on like a Commodore 64.
We got a lot going on the program today. Steve Layman from News Channel 5 is going to be with us at 6:30 live from Stockholm. He is in Sweden with News Channel 5 and covering the Predators and the Penguins in the Global Series. We'll get into some Predators talk with him a little bit later in the hour. Blake Toppmeyer from USA Today will be with us at 7:30. We'll get into the college football playoff picture with him. And our man Charles Robinson coming up at 8 o'clock, talking Titans and all things NFL. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, a team that we have not talked a ton about so far this week, and that is because they are out of the college football playoff picture. The Tennessee Volunteers are back in action. Now, Tennessee still with an opportunity here, if they win the remainder of their games, to end up at 9-3, which if you would have told Tennessee fans that before the season, all right, 9-3.
Yeah.
Give you a shot at the end of the year, and pretty good considering all the changes that took place before the season. This week they're not going to be, I don't think, overly challenged, taking on a New Mexico State team that last time I checked, Tennessee was a 38.5-point favorite. That has now moved. It is 40.5. So Tennessee is a 40.5-point favorite on Saturday. The question that I guess they're discussing in Knoxville doesn't have much to do with the game itself, except for quarterback. We all know Joey Aguilar looks like his time is wrapping up at Tennessee, barring some other, legal case that I guess you have to keep in mind. But he talked about that earlier this week and kind of what's next for him, and said he's going to take a shot at the next level, and we'll see whether or not Joey Aguilar can make that work in the NFL. In the meantime, you're looking, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're like, who's the quarterback next year? Because we've talked about this, Joe. Like if people hang around and maybe they make some additions in the portal, like they got a chance to be pretty good next year if you're Josh Heupel and Tennessee. So who's going to play quarterback? Right now, it looks like, if you're reading tea leaves here, Jake Merklinger probably going to transfer. That seems to be the general consensus. And the quarterback competition next year will be between George McIntyre, local kid, and Faison Brandon, who is a true freshman coming in. I would assume they're going to go out and add somebody in the portal. Probably not going to add somebody that's going to come in and be the starter. Could be wrong about that, but that's my guess. So, with that in mind, Joe, what's happening at quarterback on Saturday? Like, if Tennessee, if this goes the way that it normally does under Heupel, and to his credit, he has generally speaking handled these teams that he's supposed to handle, and it's 45-3 at halftime. Are you going with Jake Merklinger, who has been your backup quarterback all year? Or if you're Heupel, like, do you already have an eye on next year and you're trying to get George McIntyre as many reps as you can get him? How do you think this shakes out on Saturday for the Vols?
That's a good question. And I must give a shout out to Russell Smith. I go on his show sometimes in Fox or Knoxville radio, and he asked this question. And apparently this is like the hot topic over there. And this is my answer that just came to mind. And it's actually like I'm sticking with the first instinct on this. To me, my question back would be, if Joey Aguilar got hurt in a in a big game, in a game, who's going in?
Well, to this point this year, it's been Merklinger.
Yeah. Now, let's say it's the Vanderbilt game. I mean, again, it's like you have to play it out like, okay, you may still be doing that just because, I mean, he should be the 2. Like, I don't know what's happened behind the scenes. If you were in a pinch, the Vanderbilt game's tied in the third quarter, Aguilar goes out, do you believe it would be Merklinger?
Yes.
Well, then you got to play Merklinger. Because to me, there's still like, this is all supposed to be a meritocracy, right? And so I don't think it's a good message to your team to be, I mean, look, I think we all would agree. I'd be shocked if Merklinger's around next year, And again, I don't think that, I mean, that's just how it goes. And honestly, that's kind of, even before all this era, that's kind of, quarterback room was still heavily kind of like there's a guy in every class, and eventually like the sophomore and the junior are going to, or whatever, the freshman and the sophomore, and then someone's going to transfer. But to me, you still like I don't think it's good for a football team if your coach is doing stuff like that and bypassing someone who has earned the spot. If you would lean on him to be your backup to make plays for you in a pinch, and he has been the number 2 guy in every way behind the scenes, I think it's a bad message to your football team to all of a sudden flip that and say, well, let's just get George some snaps.
Well, what I don't know is, I don't know, is anything, it's been a minute since Merklinger's been in there. So has anything changed behind the scenes where McIntyre has surpassed him? I don't know. I don't know what.
And how would that happen even?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you would think that the reps at practice would be pretty limited at that point. So I don't know. I mean, my guess is, if you're going by how they would operate in the Vanderbilt game, if Aguilar went down, it would be Merklinger number 2, McIntyre number 3. Now, I guess the other part of this is it's a new era of college football, right? And, this didn't get discussed a ton, but when Nico left, one of the things that happened immediately after that was Merklinger got a new NIL deal. Like, the money went up for Jake Merklinger.
Mm-hmm.
So, his money has gone up, and he's played, I don't know, 17 snaps this year or whatever it is. Like, it hasn't, he hadn't been in there a whole lot. So, like, do you owe it to him? I don't know. Like, it's a kind of a new era in college football that way. My guess is when they're up by a lot on Saturday, Merklinger is going to be the next guy in. What I could see happening is Merklinger's the next guy in, and you leave him in a little bit shorter than you normally would. Like, it would be like Aguilar for a half, Merklinger for the third quarter, and then immediately to McIntyre in the fourth. I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that. Try to get them both in there. And, it's like, I'm not saying there's no value. There is value in being in actual live game action, for George McIntyre, but also, like, does this make or break it, for next year? No, I don't think so. I mean, he's a true freshman, so he's still got a long way to go, you would think. Huge offseason, huge spring, all that stuff. And then, then you get Brandon in there, and who knows? And like you said, I mean, it's a really tricky situation trying to bring a veteran in, because what level of veteran are you going to bring in especially when you have two guys
Right.
who are that highly regarded, even though they're very young. But I think they need to try for sure. But yeah, I don't know how much it really matters. Garbage time against New Mexico State. And meanwhile, for Merklinger, you could say, it's not a bad thing for him. I mean, if he can put some film out there for people, that would be doing him a solid,
Yeah, for sure. And, on the quarterback discussion as a whole for Tennessee, like Aguilar has come in. And by the way, I think Adam Sparks brought this up earlier this week, and I have to go back and look and figure out exactly how far away he is. But there is a kind of an outside chance that Joey Aguilar could break the single season passing record for Tennessee held by Peyton Manning. I mean, that is on the table for him this year. So
that's wild.
We'll see. Like, does that factor into it at all? Like, if he's on the doorstep of, he's not going to break it this week, obviously. But if you kept him in there for 3 quarters and he threw for 475 yards, that'd probably go a long way to helping the passing record. Does that matter at all?
But I mean, he's definitely going to get 2 more games after this.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I assume he's like, how far away is he?
I need to go back and look at Sparks' story. I can't remember exactly how far away he is.
But so he's probably going to get it then, right? I mean, the Vanderbilt in the bowl game, you would think. And the Aguilar is not like the dude who's going to be sitting at the bowl game. I mean, the Aguilar is a guy who's like, let me put everything I can out there for you, and please invite me to some senior bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There is a thought on the quarterback front that I do wonder if this enters into the discussion at all from Heupel looking ahead to next year. And I want to get your thoughts on that coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Steve Layman coming up at 6:30. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Rexrode trying to piss me off early in the morning.
Sorry, man. I just
listened to some Shane Beamer during the break.
Well, it looks like I'm halfway through a annoyed answer by him. Did you see what he said the other day, though? By the way,
no,
he was. Well, in
you
fact,
got to win a certain amount of football games for me to continue to pay attention to your press conference.
Oh man, I like
he
it.
has not reached that criteria.
Well, he got asked. He's the offense coordinator thing is obviously big talking point at South Carolina. So he was asked about. I guess one of them, Marcus Satterfield, I think was the OC, but he was like, well, he put 63 on Tennessee. And then I saw that, Zach Reagan from A to Z wrote a piece about it. And it was like, no, he's still bragging about the thing in which possibly Connor Stallions, whether that happened or not.
Which is also 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah.
Good stuff, Shane.
Speaking of Connor Stallions, congratulations to Michigan State. The NCAA was so mad at Michigan, they made Michigan State vacate 14 games, including the game that Connor Stallions was on the sideline for, which is absolutely amazing. Michigan State had to vacate that win. But, of course, Michigan State is not fighting back because they're trying to not pay Mel Tucker a dime. Seriously. And it's like this helps their fire for cause Mel Tucker thing. A lot of good stuff going on in college athletics.
No doubt. So on the Tennessee front with quarterback moving forward, I just looked at Sparks's video that he put out there. Basically, Aguilar needs an average of a little bit over 270 yards a game over the next 4 games to break Peyton Manning's single season passing record, which is definitely, it's attainable when you look at what they've got. So we'll see if he can do that or not. I mean, that's what I say. You could go, if he played the whole game on Saturday, he could go a long way toward putting that number.
Just go ahead and get it.
Just go ahead and wrap it up. I don't think he's going to do that, but
that's about 1,080 yards or something. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just
1,100 yards.
Have at it. But Tennessee at this point, best case scenario, 9-3, looking at a pretty good bowl game. And if they get to 9-3, that will have probably involved knocking out your in-state rivals' chances to make the college football playoff at that point too. So we'll see what all happens on that front. But as I've said, you look at their roster and who's coming back. They got a chance to be pretty good next year. And you can make the argument, and I don't know that they'll do this. You can make the argument that, you could try to put it between a true freshman and a redshirt freshman at quarterback if you want to. Like you could go that route, or you could be really aggressive in the portal and try to go get a quarterback if you're Tennessee. Like I am in today's landscape of college football, and I told you this about Vanderbilt. Like Vanderbilt obviously is trying really hard to recruit quarterbacks. I mean, Jared Curtis, they're putting the blitz on for. They've already got a quarterback recruit that they feel pretty good about moving forward here too. But I am interested this year when Poppy is gone. Do they just roll with young guys, or do they look around the country and say, yep, let's bring in somebody else that's played football at a pretty high level and bring him into this offense? I wonder if you're Heupel, like if you're looking at the roster next year with how good you could potentially be, if you're like, I just don't know if I can leave this in the hands of a freshman quarterback, a redshirt freshman quarterback, and a true freshman quarterback. Let's go get a guy. I don't know. I'm really interested to see how he handles that.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And, we're going to have Blake Toppmeyer on later. And, of course, he is the one who was introduced. And, again, I don't totally agree with him. And we actually were texting about it a little bit yesterday. I mean, he is looking at next year like this could be a hot seat year, if they don't make the playoff next year. I would argue that there's a little bit more leeway there for Heupel. But you have this year, you don't make the playoff. Again, relative to expectations, this year's been pretty good. But it's still, fans who are cheering you on when Nico left, it's a little different if you don't make it and you have the disappointments. And so then, are you signing up for 8-4, maybe to set yourself up with that young quarterback to really, the next year to be good? But is it? In college football today, if you're a program like this and your coach in his situation, can you afford to do that? I mean, and then the next question is, who are you going to go get, and like how good are they? I mean, Aguilar has been pretty amazing to me. that he's come in and done what he's done. It seems to me like he specifically fits this offense really well with his skill set, and not all quarterbacks necessarily would. But then are you going out there, you're going to have to spend, obviously. It's just like free agency in the NFL. If they're out on the market, I mean, there's a lot of competition for these top guys. Are you going to take money away from other parts of your roster to go do that when you have these young options? I mean, it's
Adidas.
That's
Adidas
true.
money.
Get that Adidas
At
money
some
in there. That's right. That's right. No, I mean, it's, Alabama is an example. I'm working on a story on like the Simpsons and now it's different because he's not young, but Alabama, Jalen Milroe leaves last year. And I mean, if they were going to go out and do that, well, then Ty Simpson would be somewhere else right now. They said they basically signed up for the unknown. I say the unknown. He'd been playing. He'd been in scrimmages. They saw him practice. Obviously, you can watch the guy play. It's like, I bet you he was pretty good in the scrimmages and practices, right? But still, you don't always know that. There's some great practice players who don't perform in games. So they kind of threw, again, it's different because he's been there a long time. But it's still kind of signing up for the unknown and saying, we're going to roll with this, and we're not going to go out there because I know if we go out there, you're leaving. That's what's going to happen. I mean, if Heupel goes out and gets somebody, is McIntyre, okay, bye.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, one of them very well could. So, I mean, shoot. The reality is one of them wins the job. I mean, especially if Brandon comes as a true freshman, wins the job, it could be the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, see ya.
It probably will be the same.
But that's where at least you need to be in the portal for a veteran who's at least okay being your backup.
Well, and with the portal now being what it is, where it's the one-time portal, I don't know if you've got to worry about that if you're Heupel this next season, right? Like it's going to be a competition. I doubt very seriously they're going to know who the starting quarterback is by the time this like if they don't try to go get somebody, they're not going to know in January if the starting quarterback's going to be Faison Brandon or George McIntyre.
Yeah, no.
So then, I mean, by that time, I mean, you're not leaving in August. So you would at least have those two for this year, and then you'd have to make a decision.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be really
the quarterback's not leaving in April again, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, but it's still it's a very difficult dilemma. Yeah, it's a lot easier look, we heard some good things about McIntyre in August. It's a lot easier if like that's continuing, because then I think you would hope that the true freshman would, be willing to sit a little bit. Again, look around college. Look at Ty Simpson. Here you go. Sat, did nothing. Milroe for 2 years. I mean, he already has his degree at Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, he might be the number one pick and Heisman winner. I mean, it stinks to wait that long, but you know what? It's worked out okay for him. That's the thing. Can you wait around? You're getting paid well.
Yeah.
Are you okay waiting a couple years to play? If you're that level of recruit.
Some people are.
Yeah.
Some people are not.
I mean, Ohio State usually they've been having this kind of like guy who sits for a year or two,
yep.
And that could be, again, if McIntyre is that good, well, then you may only have to sit 2 years.
That's the problem. Like it feels like if you're Heupel, you're going to eventually have to end up picking one because you're talking about a redshirt freshman and a true freshman. It'd be different if it was, a junior.
But that's the thing. You have to immediately pick
one.
You might change.
That's what I'm saying. Like you had to immediately pick one, and then you're probably at the end of that year, you're going to lose the other one. Like that's probably the way it's going to end up playing out. And, I guess it's a good problem to have because you're theoretically picking between two pretty good quarterbacks. I know Tennessee fans, on the one hand, like they love George McIntyre because he's from here. On the other hand, they're like, well, the other kid's the number one recruit in America. So probably pick that guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've watched George McIntyre and Faison Brandon play a ton of football. I have no idea how that's going to go out. Look, maybe Heupel looks at it, who obviously has watched them both play a lot, and looks at it and says, yeah, I'm not touching a quarterback in the portal because I know both these guys are really good. I don't know how he views this. I just know that their roster right now has a chance to be pretty good next year, and quarterback is going to be the big question mark.
Yeah, and in either case, you're so young at the most important position. And it's hard for me to, like, as we talk it through, believe that he's actually going to go out there and like try to pay $3 million for like someone to just come in and start over both of them, you know?
Arch. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Steve Layman from News Channel 5 will join us coming up next. He is with the Predators in Sweden. We'll get his thoughts on what is going on with the local professional hockey team. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Thursday morning. And we head now to a place on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, where it is not morning, and that is Stockholm, Sweden. And we welcome in our friend Steve Layman from News Channel 5. Steve, good morning. How is Sweden treating you?
Good afternoon, guys. How are we? It is It is great. At the moment, we still have lights for about 2 more hours, so that is a positive thing. It is
It's wild.
raining and a bit chilly, but it is lovely over here. People are amazing. It's historic. It's beautiful. So this is really a kind of a pinch yourself type of moment to be covering the National Hockey League over here.
So we're talking like what, 3:30, 4 o'clock when the sun goes down over there?
Oh, it is pitch black at 4 o'clock. So yeah, we're talking sunset around 3:30. I think we're actually earlier than that now as the week goes along. We're going to be at 3:20 by Sunday. So yeah, we're getting there. But just imagine it gets much worse than that. I'm told when you get to December and truly the shortest day of the year, it's like 8:45-ish sunrise and then sundown by 2:20, 2:25 in the afternoon. So we're not quite there yet. The sun came up this morning about 7:35. We'll go down maybe 3:25 this afternoon. So I'll just put this out there. For all those complaining that we switch back to standard time stateside, just feel really, really bad for the Spurs because they've got it rough in that regard.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it was that north.
It's pretty north, man.
Should look at a globe sometime.
It's pretty north. There's no doubt.
Way up there.
So, Steve, on the one hand, like you said, I mean, they're taking part in a really cool event. You're in Sweden. Philip Forsberg, Adam Wilsby are back at home. I saw you hanging out with Adam Wilsby and kind of going through the tour of Sweden at that point. So a lot of really fun stuff that they're doing over there. And on the other hand, right now, Steve, they can't win a hockey game. I mean, they are really struggling at the moment. So what's been kind of your assessment on the kind of the vibes around the Predators and how things are going right now?
I'm going to say that this trip comes at the perfect time because there's no other option for them at the moment. I think what you saw is a team that, as you guys know and have talked about a lot, you got a flawed hockey team coming into the season. This is not the best team in the league on paper by any means, but I think they were also a victim here recently of a brutal schedule. In order to accommodate coming to Sweden and later in the year, a Olympic stoppage, you had to cram a bunch of games. So they played 10 games in 16 days, culminated by the loss in New York on Monday night against the Rangers. And I think what you saw over the last week was a team that was frankly just tired. There's 2 home games. They had leads in the second period. They got off to okay starts, and then they just had no ability to close or finish out those games. I think you were looking at a tired team. Even the Penguins, who didn't have quite as truncated of a schedule, but have played a lot of games themselves, they have limped into Stockholm as well, despite a hotter start to the season. And so I think a schedule plays a role here, as does not having your captain in Roman Josi. But I think from the Predators standpoint, you come over here, you get a day off, you get a full practice, which they had yesterday, and then you play these 2 games on a different stage, maybe have a little extra juice with Philip being home and Adam being home and all that. And who knows, maybe you get 3 points, maybe you get 4 points out of this, and it can kind of galvanize your team and give you a little bit of a jump start for a part of the schedule that will be a little bit more friendly when you get back home.
Do you think if it doesn't go well, Steve, that that we're on a higher level of Andrew Brunette watch at that point?
Well, I am on the trip with the team, so I'm not as sure I'm allowed to say that, or I might be looking for my own travel home.
Nice.
But obviously, I think we all know that the watch is on to some degree. Now, whether it could happen soon here in the next several weeks or mid-season or at the end of the year, I don't know about the timing of that. But clearly, this was a team that was expected to do much more last year. Everyone was disappointed about that. And you say, okay, give them another year, give Andrew Brunette another year, and let's see how they start and if they can right the ship next season. And at least to this point, about a third or just past the quarter pull through, they haven't done that. And so at some point, you got to think that there would be changes made, at the very least with the roster when you start looking towards the trade deadline. And so the timing is hard to figure. But yes, if they keep losing, it keeps going in the wrong direction, changes are going to come, and the easiest change to make at this point would be with the head coach.
So, Steve, I remember when they went to Switzerland a couple years ago for the preseason game, and Roman Josi was just an absolute rock star over there. And I know it's a little bit different in Sweden because, frankly, they just have more options. Like, there are more really good players that come from Sweden. But have you been able to get a sense for like the star power of Forsberg in particular over there?
No question. He is a rock star when you come over here. I think we all know by now that Phil and Aaron Forsberg were on Scandinavian Vogue this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And so they love him over here at a charity game that was completely sold out back in his hometown of Leksand. And you just walk around Stockholm and you will see Forsberg jerseys, both of the Preds kind and of Tre Kronar, the Swedish national team. And so you just have people who love him. I talked to Jonathan Lindqvist, who is the Viaplay, the Swedish hockey reporter and analyst, and he said, look, Forsberg is at the top of the list of Swedish stars right now because he's got a spectacular flair to his game. He's a good player, but he's got kind of that YouTube quality that most Swedes don't have. They're known for more being kind of a reliable, steady type of player. And Forsberg brings the spectacular, which has made him very popular, especially with the younger generation. And so when he walks around here, he's mobbed. He came in and immediately did a media session on Tuesday. And then yesterday, the Predators media day at the Global Series, he was back out at the podium along with Andrew Burnett to do questions in English and then questions in Swedish. So he is absolutely the biggest star in this game from a Sweden perspective, and they're treating him like that. And oh, by the way, he's also playing host this week because he's treating the guys to a whole bunch of great dinners and activities and things like that. So he's part guest of honor, part host being home this week.
I mean, I at some point I had to ask you, like, what's the best meal you've had over there? I mean, it's got to be better than just like Swedish meatballs, right? Or
Well,
maybe not.
I will say this as someone who has spent a lot of time in Wisconsin and Minnesota that has a lot of that Viking Nordic influence and have had Swedish meatballs a lot in my life. They are way better here, authentically made. And so that actually was a delicious meal. So it's way, way up there. But my favorite thing so far over here is one of their most beloved rituals and traditions is called fika, F-I-K-A. And it's actually, you'll appreciate this, Joe. It's actually a noun and a verb. It's the practice of stepping away from what you're doing and taking a break sometime in the middle of the day. You know, you're tired of work, you just get away, you have a fika.
Amen.
And it's also the practice of enjoying some caffeine, maybe a shot of espresso or a cup of coffee, and a cannelle boule or a cinnamon bun as you sit down and do that. So I am all for this. Whenever you're tired during the day, just take a break, have a coffee and a cinnamon bun or a cinnamon roll, and you get the energy right back and you're ready to go. So that is one tradition I'm really trying to put my foot down and say we need to bring back to the States with us.
Fika, yeah.
Yeah, probably a little bit more tired over there when the sun's going down at lunchtime too. So good thing to keep in mind on that front.
Yeah.
Steve, you were with the team in New York as well, and Matt Wood picks up his first NHL hat trick. I said it the other day, if you're looking for things to be excited about right now, if you're a Predators fan, I mean, he's probably at the top of the list, being 20 years old and the first-round pick and the way that he's playing. So what do you make of kind of the immediate impact that Matt Wood has had stepping into their lineup?
I love it. Obviously, the hat trick the other night, now 6 goals in his last 7 games. That's what you're hoping for when you look at these guys who are young, who are kind of the next wave of what the Predators are going to be. And the ultimate vision, right, for what this roster is right now is that these superstars that are later in their careers perform and lead the team and lead by example. And the young guys like a Matthew Wood come into their own and become the reinforcements and build your depth and give you extra scoring. Wood looks like he's ready to play that part. He played a great game the other night, and he just seemingly has a confidence. It's a humble confidence. It's a quiet confidence, but he seems to feel like he belongs up here right now, just trying to play a role, not trying to be a star. And within that role, opportunities are coming, and right now he's making the most of it.
Steve Layman over there in Sweden covering things for News Channel 5. Steve, really kind with your time. Appreciate you making the international radio visit with us today, and have fun over there, man. We'll see you when you get back.
Talk to me, guys. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Love the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Steve Layman,
Thanks,
our guest here on the program. Predators are in Sweden. They're taking on Pittsburgh tomorrow and on Sunday as well. So a couple of games coming up between the Predators and the Penguins, a rematch of the 2017 Stanley Cup Final. And guys like Crosby and Malkin still playing and playing at a high level for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Forsberg still there. Saros still there.
No Yossi.
Yossi not going to play. So not a whole lot of guys left on either side from that matchup that at this point was 8 years ago.
Yeah, wow. Depressing.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up next. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
The best and worst of the sports week, now on Robby and Rexrode.
On ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is the worst. You look like you're feeling sorry for yourself. Believe in miracles? Yes!
He's one of one. He is him.
This is a Coke bottle. It's not a crystal ball.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
It is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports.
You know, I kind of hate to do this to you, but it's just my only outlet for basketball. So my best is college basketball. It's been fantastic already. Again, I feel bad for you if you didn't watch the St. John's Alabama game. I know that may not be the first thing that comes to your mind. You know, it's not Duke, Carolina, but St. John's Alabama at the Garden was incredible. We've already had a bunch of great games. We've already had Louisville, Kentucky.
That was a good game. I did see that.
Yeah, which I didn't get to see. You know,
Tennessee, Northern Kentucky was good.
Yeah.
Vandy's off to a good start.
Vandy's off to a good start. Now the Vanderbilt coaches both
trying to get people to show up to the building.
Yep, which I get. I also would say, you know, it is important. Like you want to schedule attractive games. I know it's easier said than done, but I mean, I think you got to try to just sprinkle some of those in. The SEC is loaded, so you know your schedule strength can be fine. But I mean, that is a way to help. That is to have games in your gym where people are excited about watching that opponent. You know? So, but it's been a tremendous start. And I'll also tack on that Steph Curry put 46 on the Spurs in a big road win for the Dubs last night. So, you know, throw that in there too. Just my little basketball best in sports. Basketball is always the best in sports. Is it? Well, yeah. I mean, basically, it's the best sport. Worst in sports. It's a broken record, but like I'm still sitting here. I'm still having paid you $82. I still don't have any damn ESPN on my TV. But thanks for the $20 rebate. You know, YouTube TV does a great job every month of just taking my money. I mean, they don't have to do anything extra. They don't need to like ask me for permission. They just take my money. Auto pay setup. But thanks for the $20 rebate in which I have to like jump through a bunch of hoops and like, you know, give a blood sample and show my passport, you freaking goons.
That was my favorite part of the whole thing. It's like, well, we could, you know, just give everyone a $20 credit. But why would we want to do that? Let's make you go claim it.
Yeah,
hopefully people will forget to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they were making progress.
A lot of you will. Oh, great.
I read on your website.
Where? Okay. Yeah, I know. I read it too. I mean,
Rexrode reporting that they're making progress, and then nothing.
Andrew Marchand's all over it. But again, like no one wants to hear anything else but
the deal's done.
Yeah, this is complete garbage. And again, most of these, as we all know, it's like, watch out, everybody. We got a dispute, and it's like 3 days later it gets taken care of, and you avoid. But
this one is lingering a lot longer than
I thought it'd been over well before this.
It's insanity. And by the way, I should have had this ready, but the numbers for everything for ESPN have taken a notable dip, by the way, since this happened. Game day, and the big down, 2.7 million down to 2. The ABC college football windows, they're in the 7s, 8s, 9s. Now they're in the 4s and 5s. Gee, I wonder why, you morons.
Just crazy the way that it's played out.
Yeah.
Ian Safar, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Okay, my best. I think I'm going with Cam Coleman, Auburn wide receiver, including the catch.
He's pretty good.
I mean, that catch was up there. The one-handed.
It was really good.
Lefty, tap it to yourself. And then the following play to go righty, one-handed for the 2-point conversion, back-to-back against a good player. So, I don't know. That was impressive. He looked pretty good to me. Worst, Nashville SC. What a dud.
Yeah.
They looked good in game 2. Game 3, down in Miami. Messi comes out right from the start. It was over.
Got messied.
Sure, it got messied quick.
Looks like Walker Zimmerman going to be a free agent now. So some of the early guys are starting to move on.
So, Surge did not show up in the postseason, really. That, I don't know, Falcone or something like that for Miami kind of got in his head and shut him down. And Mukhtar was okay, But overall, disappointing end to the season there.
No doubt. A team around here that was actually doing some winning that
Yeah.
did not when it mattered the most.
Still better than the Titans and the Preds.
Well, no doubt. No doubt. My best thing in sports, there's been a lot of news over the last couple of years about gambling in sports and how, for some reason, it continues to be a problem, no matter how many like guardrails and warnings and examples people make. The latest thing in the NBA, big problem with all that stuff going on. So Mahomes was asked about that this week, about sports betting. And his response, I think, is just a very good one. I know people hate the Chiefs. I've always said Patrick Mahomes, pretty likable dude. This is what he said. He said, quote, I just stay away from it. I don't want to put myself in that position. Your life is so great. Why mess with it? I think that's probably some good advice that people should take if you're in the National Football League, the NHL, the NBA, especially if you're one of these like highly, highly paid guys. I would not be messing around too much with sports betting. And I think some good perspective there from Patrick Mahomes.
No doubt. I mean, that may not be true of like, in college, it's been a lot of like, like Northwestern New Mexico State Tech.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere. Here, let's do some player props. So it's a little different than like these guys who are millionaires. But yeah, that's great advice for those people. And then, you hope at some point people kind of look around and say, gee, maybe this is dumb.
We're probably not going to get away from this.
Yeah.
So let's just stop doing it. My worst thing in sports, Matt LaFleur. He sucks, and I can't wait to ask Charles Robinson whether or not he's going to get fired by the Green Bay Packers coming up at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to it.
I was listening the other day to Jake and Parker, and they immediately were like, he's getting fired. I'm like, I knew. And they're like, oh, Robbie Stanley has texted in. But
this is a lot more real than people want to believe.
Even if they made the playoffs but lost in the first round?
Yes.
I mean, I think
it's at least going to be on the table.
Yeah. And I don't.
Missing the playoffs, maybe I guess I could entertain it. But to make the playoffs?
I mean,
they make the playoffs all the time.
They make the playoffs all the time. He's been there forever. They just got Micah Parsons. Everybody's like, they're going to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. I mean, expectations are very high.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. There was very rarely does Jake Lyman have a take where I'm like, oh, what? But I'm like, oh, yeah, man, don't dismiss that.
No, it is.
It's real, and you're so
real,
excited about it.
He's getting asked about it every which way in the press conference right now, which is very interesting. So we'll see how that goes. See if they can beat Jameis Winston on Sunday. Nate says, best thing in sports, you get to see what hockey is like in Sweden. The worst thing in sports, you get to see Preds hockey in Sweden.
Nice.
Taking a shot there with the Nashville Predators. Somebody has a problem with you saying basketball is the best sport. One texter says the best.
You have a different opinion than me? Oh, my goodness.
Tyler Shuck. Shuck them down and pass it around. Looked pretty good. Used to be the worst. Tyler Shuck did play well on Sunday.
Yeah.
The worst is the Cleveland Guardians pitchers. I did not see what happened with the
Oh,
Cleveland
that was
Guardians
that was the betting thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like legit tipping pitches like
I saw
in the middle
all
of
the
the
stuff
game
with
or whatever it
schemes
was.
yesterday, so I wondered if something else happened with you. But yeah, I got you now. Oh, good.
By the way, you know that your Packers aren't just taking on Jameis Winston.
Yeah, it's
right?
Tim Kelly and Shane Bowen are the two coordinators.
No,
I swear.
No,
Isn't it
not Tim Kelly.
Yeah.
I thought it was Todd Downing.
No, it's Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly's
Tim
offensive
Kelly.
coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, Downing's with
Downing's
That's right,
Downing's
Downing.
Braves.
Okay, it's not as fun.
Don't say Mike Grable on the show.
That's not as fun if it was not Downing. Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah,
but that's still
because Downing
still
did beat the Packers pretty good once
He did.
when he was here.
He did.
and celebrated
A lot of celebration
well
taking on after that too.
Yeah.
William from Madison says the best is Diego Pavia, and the worst is all the people who said Vanderbilt is their second favorite team that are now openly rooting against them. Has that happened? Is that a widespread thing?
So
I don't think so.
Would that be like Tennessee fans who were like, yeah, I'd like to see them do well, and now they hate them? Is that what he's saying?
I don't know. Like I would imagine most Tennessee fans don't really want to see them do well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we have there is some, like, isn't Chase a Tennessee fan? And he's
I've always thought Chase was a Vanderbilt.
He's a Vandy fan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So never mind then. I've heard some Tennessee fans who are like, yeah, I'd like to who live around here.
I know
I'd like them to do well.
There's one or two here. I think Parker, he's a Tennessee fan, but he also said if Vandy ends up 10-2 and doesn't make the playoff, not cool.
Yeah.
So there is like a combo there.
Okay.
But at some point, if the rival that you can pat on the head and just beat whenever you want gets good, then they get annoying, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Vanderbilt's there yet, but
Well, I
if
mean,
they make the college football playoff this year and Tennessee doesn't, that'll spice it up.
yes,
That will
you would
spice it
think
up.
so. Yeah.
And particularly, that would require Vanderbilt going into Neyland and beating them, which would also spice it up. And I imagine if they do that, you're probably going to hear some talk from the quarterback over there too, would be my guess.
Yes, you will.
I bet Pavia will not be silent.
And by the way, I mentioned I went on Russell Smith's show yesterday. He said that if Vanderbilt wins that game, it will be post-apocalyptic in Knoxville.
Yeah,
So
well,
there you go.
we'll see. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Ian Safari, very much looking forward to it coming up here in a few weeks. Very much looking forward
Very
to it.
much so.
A development yesterday as it relates to the Tennessee Titans that I think is a pretty bad sign of the times. We will get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Thursday morning. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We will have Blake Toppmeyer from the USA Today Network with us a little bit later this hour at 7:30. We'll get into all things college football with him. Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock. We will get into the Titans and all things NFL with Charles coming up at 8 o'clock. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Joe, a sign of the time. One of the things I enjoy looking at every week is the TV broadcast map that are out there. And I will admit freely, most of the time I'm looking at it because I'm like, all right, is the Packers game going to be visible to me in the Middle Tennessee area? And trying to determine whether or not that's the case. This week, though, some intrigue that I did not expect to happen. And Kuharski tweeted this out there yesterday. It made the rounds all over the place yesterday. The Titans and the Texans coming up from Nissan Stadium on Sunday. And if you look at the TV map as to who is going to be able to watch the Titans and the Texans, you will find that in the Tennessee area, it's basically Middle Tennessee, and that's it. West Tennessee, nope, you can't watch. East Tennessee, nope, you're not watching the Titans and the Texans. It is the Middle Tennessee corridor, and that is it as to who's watching and who's going to have access on regular TV to the Titans and the Texans. So this went all over the place yesterday. You know, obviously there are Titans fans in Knoxville, Chattanooga, Memphis, and Jackson, and all these different places all over the place. I think we would all agree the majority of Titans fans reside here in the Middle Tennessee area. But I don't know that I can remember, and maybe it's just because we haven't talked about this a whole lot. I don't know that I remember a TV map looking quite like this, where it's like, yeah, the smallest window possible in Tennessee can get the Titans game, and then everybody else we're going to be showing Packers Giants or pick your game. Something else is going to be in there at that point. What do you make of that? And what kind of a sign of the times is that for the Titans, that literally the broadcast footprint is Middle Tennessee, and if you're west or east, good luck, buddy. You're not watching the Titans.
Well, I don't know the exact, history of this. I'd love, frankly, for someone to do the work on that. Please do and get back to us. But this conversation yesterday with Russell Smith on the drive at Fox Sports Knoxville must have been really impactful. Like them, a lot of pub. But that's how I found out about it. I didn't see Kuharski's tweet with the map until later, because I was like, I wonder if Kuharski's on this. And I saw, I was like, oh, actually, he was on this hours ago. But those guys told me, they're like, this is the first time in my life that this has ever happened. Like, all of them are Titans fans who were on the show, and they're like, this has never happened as far as I've ever been watching. So wow. I'd like to know, I'd like confirmation of that. But, I mean, I believe him. Like, I know Russell's a big Titans fan. He goes to Titans games, stuff like that. His family goes to games. So, I mean, it appears that this is like a first time. You go back to, like, conversations, like with Floyd and any of those guys who were there at the time of what this franchise did in terms of trying to get people to pay attention to them and all the work. Like, this would, this has got to be really galling, not just for the Titans now, but for the people who, were part of that, because it's been a long effort to make it like an obvious thing that they're going to be on in the whole state.
Yeah.
And I know some people have responded to this, like in Memphis, like, well, no one cares. Like, it's a cow. I don't think I think there's Titans fans there too. I mean, I guess I could see that more easily than Knoxville.
Yeah.
But Knoxville is like, that's a little bit of a shocker. I'm assuming it's as simple as the numbers are so bad that they just said, well, if this few people are going to watch, then I guess we'll put this other game on, right?
I'm assuming that, I don't know what else it would be. Like, I'm assuming that's the case. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, I know they play here and they're in Nashville. They are the Tennessee Titans, Tennessee.
Very intentionally.
The entire state.
Very intentionally.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you can't see them throughout the entire state of Tennessee is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So I just think it's another another sign of apathy. I mean, that's that. And again, apathy is the worst thing. It's the number one thing that you want to avoid as a professional sports franchise, because you can just flat out lose fans.
Yeah. Well, and look, the Titans don't have the biggest fan base anyway, right? Like that. I mean, comparatively speaking, they're, especially here in Nashville, they're still relatively young, right? I mean, we're coming up on 30 years, so I get that. But I mean, look around. I mean, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Bears. I mean, there's all these historic franchises that have been in one spot for a long time at this point that have bigger fan bases. Now, the simple answer to this is just win. Like, if you start winning games again, then you'll be back on TV in Knoxville, and you'll be back on TV in Memphis, and you'll get better. Like, if Cam Moore turns out to be a great player, I've talked about this. I mean, Kansas City is not some bustling market, right? Like, it's not like Kansas City, some huge market, but Patrick Mahomes is going to end up being one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and they win all the time. So that's why they're on TV all the time. So if your quarterback turns into one of the best players in the league, there'll be plenty of people that have interest in watching the Tennessee Titans. But it shows you right now that there's a lot of losing that's gone on. I think here locally, we've experienced it a little bit of, it's just a hard watch, man. Like, it's hard to devote 3 hours of your Sunday right now to watching this team play football. We're in middle of November, and the season's been over with for weeks at this point in terms of any expectation of doing anything. And now most Titans fans we hear from are like, all right, let's just suffer through the rest of the season and get to the point where we can start to talk about the draft in the offseason. And that is being reflected right now, I think, in what we're seeing here.
Yeah. So they had a losing record, lost their last 7 in 2022, blew the division. They were bad in 23. They were bad in 24. We are halfway through 25. So it's been a while, but like through all that, I haven't heard this, right? I mean, this is
no.
So, I mean, this is another step to me, and it's going to be really interesting to see, does it, like, is that just how it's going to be now? Like in Knoxville the rest of the year? Like, you're just going to get whatever game. The Titans are no longer someone on the text line saying that Memphis, I guess, has been hit and miss this year already before this. I could buy that. But again, Knoxville, I think this is unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, it's, they're usually on CBS, right? I mean, typically it's a lot of AFC games on CBS, NFC on Fox. It's not exclusively that way anymore. They've been on Fox a couple of times this year. So I don't know. Maybe it's just some weird thing with the Fox window right now for Sunday. I'm not smart enough to know how all those TV executives work.
The different networks can definitely view it differently.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. But to your point, I don't ever remember it being the case where you could watch the game in the Nashville area and that's it, basically. Like, if you're not in Middle Tennessee or southeastern Texas, you ain't watching this game. It's kind of amazing.
Well, and even in the Middle Tennessee, there's a couple little blips in there south. They're close to the Alabama border that aren't getting it. It's like, why are those little areas not getting, like, what? No, I mean, it's
they're getting Packers Giants in, like, Lawrenceburg.
Well, and that, right, yeah. And that's another thing. All due respect to your Packers. I said this yesterday. It's like, okay, if it's like, the Chiefs and Bills are playing at the same time, and so, like, they're unless you have a real, like, this is a game people are going to watch or something. If there's an amazing game that's taken, but it's Packers Giants, huh?
Maybe they want to watch their next head coach. I don't know.
Todd Downing, BOC, even though he's not the OC in this game. No, I mean, it's just, yeah, there you go, the next head coach.
Can do a scouting report on LaFleur.
Mike Herndon, by the way, is like,
please
do fire him. Please do. We'll take him right now.
I said it the other day. Like, if he shook free, he'd probably be a good hire for the Titans. Like, he's a good coach.
Yeah. You want
expectations
more.
A little bit different.
You want more.
A little bit different.
I get it. You're a demand excellencer. This texter says, I wish the Titans would take the Tennessee off their name and just be the Titans. They do a horrible job representing my state. Just the Titans.
You're not Nashville.
The,
like the Utah Hockey
unnamed Club. Location Titans. What about the Nashville Titans? Should they be the Nashville Titans?
They should not. Tennessee is what they should be.
I mean, that's what they've been. You got to keep it. You got to keep some
Well,
continuity.
look, and I
Even if
think-
Knoxville's not showing your games.
I understand Nashville is your hub. Nashville's your city, to use that stupid phrase, in the state and all those things. But like, it does make a lot of sense to embrace the entire state,
Yeah.
right? And to have as many fans as you can have. It's
Well, it's just
when
like
they're as bad as they are right now. I mean, and they're losing a lot of casual fans. There's no doubt about that.
100%. And on the name, by the way, the Patriots used to be the Boston Patriots.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and
Cover the bigger area.
Vermont, come on over. Connecticut, you're welcome to.
Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Dwayne to the program. Dwayne, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
Not much, man.
Well, I was kind of comparing football to baseball because I used to live in New England. I used to live in Eastern Connecticut. And it's all being regional sports. You would only get blacked out in certain areas. In Western Connecticut, you can get the Red Sox. In Rhode Island, you can get the Red Sox. But in Eastern Connecticut, from Hartford to the Rhode Island line, you got nothing. So if you're a baseball fan, and I'm a junkie for baseball, or most sports, you'd got nothing. So I didn't know how the comparison to baseball and football blackout areas kind of, if they were the same or polarizing, they leave different.
Yep. Thank you for calling, Dwayne. We appreciate it. We'll get into that coming up next. A lot of your thoughts on the decision to not broadcast the Titans game in Knoxville and Memphis. Take your thoughts. More of your thoughts on that. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. MTSU Blue Raiders taking on Western Kentucky this Saturday at 2:30. Rivalry. Catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com.
So we got Titans FC.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I threw in the America Titans. Someone threw in the, what did he say? Undisclosed location Titans.
Yeah.
JD from Brentwood, can you organize a caravan for us in Middle Tennessee to go to Knoxville Sunday so we can't watch?
It's all vacate. Get out of here.
Party bus! Get away from the Titans. Anywhere but where you can see the Titans on TV.
Yeah. Which don't have to drive that far anymore.
Yeah.
Hour and a half down
This
the road.
is a
You're
low
good.
T alert.
At some point, will it be like in Nashville, like, you know, like you have to, as a bar, you have to just sign up if you're willing to show
Like,
the
you
Titans.
can watch the Titans on Eastland Avenue in East Nashville. That's about it. It's like, wow, how about that?
It's just a detriment to the bars.
We
They're
got
like,
a GameStop where you can see the Titans.
No, just quit taking up the TVs. No one's here to watch the Titans. We're switching the game.
Yeah. You can watch the Titans in downtown Nashville, Franklin, and Goodlettsville. Those are your locations. You can watch the Titans.
Good Lord.
Brent says pretty soon they'll broadcast Titans game as TVMA, parental discretion advised. You really need to make sure the children are out of the room if you're going to watch Titans play today. Man, good grief.
Who knew that this could be so much fun?
I mean, this is going about how I thought it would on the text line of like, yeah, don't blame them. Don't blame them.
Jeff from Nebraska says, if you're mad about not seeing the Titans while living in Tennessee, just think of the $400 I paid to watch them while sitting in Nebraska. Now that's depression.
That's a tough one.
That's a fan right there.
That's a fan.
That's a fan.
And you know what? When the day comes that they're good again, whenever that happens, Jeff, you deserve it.
No,
all of you deserve it.
That's the thing, you know. I mean, right now it's sort of like the stock market, right? You want to buy low. I mean, we're talking low.
Yeah, we're talking real.
You know, the people who are hanging in, who are still there at at the stadium, who are watching, who are paying extra to watch them elsewhere, like it's like we should keep track of who these people are, you know. And then the Titans should like reward them with like front row seats at the new stadium, you know.
Oh, I agree. I thought you were going to say like today's or Sunday's game. It's like, well, you probably do that anyway. Just walk down.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Again, at this point, you're close to paying people. Yeah.
Hey guys, come on down. There's plenty of room available down here. Come on down. Oh man. David says, looks like we'll get to experience the game like Trey. I'm kind of excited to hear how Ward's techniques are lacking, turning lemons into lemonade. I'm here for it. It's like, wow, we can't see it, so let's just listen to it.
He sounds awful today.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't. How popular are the Titans in Knoxville? There are Titans fans in Knoxville. I think we all know that Knoxville is largely about the University of Tennessee, and that's what they do.
Sure.
How popular are the Titans in Memphis? I mean, they did play there for a year, and then they didn't get the team, which is still a very sore spot.
That went well
out there. Yeah, went well. So, like, I understand Memphis and Knoxville they're not just hotbeds for the Tennessee Titans. But again, they are part of your state. And when things are going well, like I would imagine there's, decent interest in Memphis and Knoxville as to what's going on with the NFL team in your state.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, Memphis, even Memphis, it's funny because I'm trying to remember at one point I did a story on John Morant, like early in his time with the Grizzlies. And I remember I wrote a little thing about the whole Memphis-Nashville thing. And someone told me, at all the bars on Sundays, like the Titans are on. Now, again, that was when they were good.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was like, Titans are on other bars in Memphis. Like there are Titans fans in Memphis.
Again, and they had that season there. They had one season in Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah, which might
have helped
a bleep show
on.
Or might have hurt. Some people would say it hurt, but yeah, 1997 season there, then 98 at Vandy. But there are some fans there. Knoxville, I don't think there's any question. Like, I mean, again, it's if these people are saying this is the first time in their life that they haven't been able to watch the Titans, I mean, I think this is a notable development. Whether it's a huge fan base there or not, it's enough that it's been a no-brainer that they've been on TV.
Well, they need every fan they can get, right? Like if you're the Titans, you need every fan you can get. So whether that's in Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, Lawrenceburg, shout out to Lawrenceburg. I don't care where it is. but they need every fan they can get. And what it shows you is they're just, and I don't blame people. I mean, they're 1-8. They've been terrible for a long time. And it goes back to something you've been harping on for a few years. Like, it's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to be bad and borderline unwatchable, which is what they are. Like, I got a tough time watching them. It's my job. Like, I got to watch them.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you thought this year would be at least, okay, well, there's another quarterback. I know last year there was too. Oh, the young quarterback. But this year it's a totally brand new, unknown rookie quarterback. That's got to help, right? Well,
nope.
Here we are.
Andrew says, I'd pay YouTube the $20 back if they play a different game than the Titans. Take my $20 credit back, YouTube TV. I will gladly hand it over.
Put this in the pile, and hopefully you and ESPN can figure this out. Just please do not put them on the television.
That would be a bummer to live in the state of your team and have to have Red Zone to watch, or the YouTube whatever Sunday Ticket to watch your team.
Watch your team play
in the state that they're in.
I mean, I'm always over there a lot, and like driving home on Sunday a lot and stuff, and listen to radio. I mean, they talk Titans there, like, they talk NFL, they talk Vols. Obviously, Vols are dominant, but like Matthew Nestor says, I know a ton of Titans fans in Knoxville. I mean, I don't think it's an insignificant.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's not. They're not the number one dog there, like they are.
Sure.
Here.
Well, I mean, I guess I would ask even here, if the Vols are really good, wouldn't they still be the number one dog? No.
I don't know. I guess it depends
on how you look at it.
Yeah. Brandon says Knoxville had cup final watch parties at Market Square for the Preds. I promise they're a Titans fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I remember
that Preds run.
I went on Knoxville radio like 15 times during the cup final run up there.
Yeah. Yeah. They were into it. Yeah. I mean, it's a much easier, again, the Memphis thing is, there's the rivalry or whatever. I mean, that's a little different. The state it's a different kind of state, because from the west point to the east point is
a long way.
Is a 7.5 hour drive or whatever. But still, like, the east side has been like a no brainer. So you wonder what this means moving forward. Maybe, like you said, maybe this won't be the case on the other network. Yeah. I guess maybe there'll be an outcry. Maybe there'll be applause. I don't know.
Good job, Fox. Way to go.
Again, it's like they're picking Packers Giants. Wild.
Oh, boy. I mean, Jameis is playing. You got to keep that in mind.
That is true. Jameis is awesome. Jameis just sang Hamilton.
He did.
At his presser.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Blake Toppmeyer from the USA Today Network will join us coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Thursday morning, talking a little college football. And to help us do that, we head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Blake Toppmeyer to the program, senior national college football columnist for the USA Today Network. Blake, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. You guys?
Doing awesome, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. So, as you know, Blake, Vanderbilt 8-2. They are 2 wins away from a 10-2 record, and we think punching their ticket to the college football playoff. But what do you make of kind of where things stand right now with the rankings, with Vanderbilt being at 14? We had the discussion and a piece that you brought up the other day coming about Notre Dame being at number 9 and their resume to this point. What do you make of kind of the difference in ranking between those two teams specifically based on the resume from both teams?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think Vanderbilt's suffering from A, brand bias, and B, recency bias. That's where Notre Dame has the advantage on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has the misfortune of 2 of its worst games are 2 of its last games. You know, they lost to Texas, didn't play well for the first 3 quarters of that game until Diego Pavia obviously rallied them in the fourth quarter and made it a close game at the end. And then they needed overtime to beat a woebegone Auburn team. So those are their 2 last submissions to the committee. So you have that recency bias working against them, whereas a team like Notre Dame has a 7-game win streak and its 2 losses happened back during swimming pool season. So that's one factor. But I do think too, I think, at least on a subconscious level, I have to think brand bias is working against Vanderbilt because you look at their metrics, their strength of schedule, their strength of record metrics, and they're pretty good. But I still think it is tough for people to forget everything they've seen their entire lives. And for a lifetime now, Vanderbilt has been a doormat. It's not anymore. But we see this on College Game Day every week, right? Like, I mean, Nick Saban's been a 2-year skeptic of Vanderbilt. He cannot believe what his eyes are seeing, that Vanderbilt is good now. And you just have to wonder how much of that is going on in the committee room as well. Because, you know, even beyond Notre Dame, I mean, Utah is ranked 1 spot ahead of Vanderbilt. And there's nothing on Utah's resume that says it should be ranked ahead of Vanderbilt, except, you know, recency bias. 2 of Utah's best games are its 2 last games. So I think that's at play. I don't know that Vanderbilt would be a lock at 10-2. I do think because of some of the games teams ranked ahead of them have to play, it would be right there on the doorstep if it could get to 10-2, which, I mean, that's the key, right? I mean, you know, don't lose to Kentucky, have to beat Tennessee in Neyland Stadium, which is going to be a tall order, and then you take your chances with the committee.
Yeah, and I still think, I mean, I understand. Well, Tennessee's ranked. If you're Vanderbilt, you want Tennessee to beat Florida. I still think winning at Tennessee would be an awfully impressive thing, and I think enough stuff would happen to help them. Maybe not, but you know, if you go with probabilities with all the other stuff out there. You know, I think they'd probably be in. But sticking with Vanderbilt, Blake, you know, Pavia, I kind of, honestly, I mean, I kind of dismissed him from the Heisman talk, especially after the Texas loss, even though he played so well. But, you know, he was so incredible last week. Then you combine those 2 games and what he did in those games. And, you know, you look around and it's so different from last year, right? When we had 2 people who were it's a fantastic candidates. It was a great debate. Do you feel like if Vanderbilt does win those 2 games, he's obviously has to be incredible, maybe game-winning drive at Knoxville or whatever, that he could still have a chance to sneak in there just because, I mean, maybe Mendoza is a favorite for a lot of people, but I still don't think it's like a strong, like obvious situation right now.
I think Pavia can get to New York to win the award. Boy, he would have to be at his absolute best in Knoxville, and I think, you know, Vanderbilt goes, as we know, as Pavia goes. So if they're going to get to 10-2, then I have to assume that Pavia played well in his next 2 games, because if he doesn't, they're not going to get to 10-2. But if they do, and if they get in the playoff, man, he would have a compelling resume beyond just the stats. I mean, the story of him getting Vanderbilt to 10-2, I think he's going to end up on a lot of ballots. To pass Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin and some of the other contenders for the award, I don't know that he can get all the way there and win the prize. But I do think if they're 10-2, he's probably in New York City. And there's a couple other things at play here too. I think when the award doesn't have a runaway winner, I really think it is won in the last few weeks of the season. And I think it will hurt Pavia a little bit that he's not going to be playing in the conference championship game. And two contenders for the award, Fernando Mendoza at Indiana and Julian Sayin of Ohio State, they're going to be playing in the conference championship game head-to-head. So they'll have a last opportunity to sort of impress voters. And also another contender, Ty Simpson from Alabama, he's probably going to be playing in the SEC championship game. So you're going to have, three guys that you're up against have that final submission to voters, whereas Pavia, even if they're at 10-2, he's probably going to be at home on conference championship weekend with no last submission to the voters. So I think that works against him a little bit. But man, the narrative of them being 10-2, because let's face it, that's the other thing voters are kind of a sucker for, when, especially in these close races, when there's not a clear-cut winner. Narrative matters, and I think that helps Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, being number 2 in the country, being undefeated, particularly if they were to beat Ohio State. Boy, that's a compelling narrative for that quarterback. So, but I do think that helps Pavia as well. So, long story short, if they're 10-2, I think he's in New York, but I would be surprised if he wins.
So, Blake, it's been a wild calendar year of 2025 for Tennessee. You make the college football playoff last year. You get smoked by Ohio State. Your quarterback up and leaves in April. You go get Joey Aguilar. And while they're not going to make the college football playoff, 9-3 is still on the table for Tennessee. You are very familiar with Tennessee. You're very familiar with Vol Twitter, obviously. What do you make of where things currently stand with Heupel, his job security, and what that looks like over the next season here for Heupel? And I know that you made some waves in Vol Twitter last week as it related to Penn State. What do you make of kind of where he sits right now in that job?
Yeah, as I wrote, if I was Josh Heupel, I would think now is the perfect time to sort of pop your head out of the trench, see what else is out there. This is a red hot coaching market, and someone with his resume, I think, would be an incredible candidate at Penn State. And I think he would be a revelation inside the Big Ten. His offense would be, I think he'd be a hit at Penn State from day one if they could get him. It's a question of what he wants to do. Does he want to continue forward at Tennessee, or does he want to look around and see what is out there? He's given no public indication anyway that he would ever leave Tennessee. But when you look at his, I think he's sort of at a fork in the road in his tenure. I agree with you, like 9-3 on the table. I think put up against realistic expectations, that was sort of the realistic expectations for the season, right? It go about 8-4, 9-3, and that's fine. But you still have on the table at the Swamp. I know Florida's in absolute disarray, but we also know Tennessee's history at the Swamp. It's a house of horrors for them. Tennessee has lost to bad Florida teams at the Swamp before. And then, my goodness, if he were to lose to Vanderbilt, even if he beats Florida, if he were to lose to Vanderbilt in the season finale, and that's how Vanderbilt gets in the playoff, that would be a tough way to enter the offseason for Josh Heupel. I've asked several people, in East Tennessee and in Knoxville, what they would put like the temperature reading, not people in the administration, but just sort of people kind of around the program, follow Tennessee, live in Knoxville, what they'd put the temperature at for Josh Heupel. And I hear somewhere around like 5 or 6. It's not scalding hot. It's also not Tony Vitello. They're ready to, declare him governor to make him stay in Tennessee, right? So it's somewhere in the middle. Like he doesn't have the approval rating that he would have had after the 2022 season when he was at an all-time high. His approval rating would have been like 99%. after the 2022 season. The shine has come off a little bit, but I think by and large, most Tennessee fans still appreciate this guy's a really good coach. But I think the time to leave, if he were going to do it, is when the temperature reading is a 5 or 6. If you wait till it's 8, 9, or 10, you're cooked. You're not going to be able to leave and find another job at that point. You're waiting on your buyout check. And so if Heupel were to want to stay one step ahead of the posse, now is the time to do it. With this red hot coaching market, with the temperature, maybe only being 4, 5, or 6 on his reading. And his resume still looks great, being 1 year removed from being in the college football playoff. But, the flip side of that is he's never won a playoff game. And next year he's going into year 6 into his tenure, and his early success raised the bar. And for programs like Tennessee, it's sort of a playoff or bust mentality at this point. Now, there is the caveat of Nico having left at the beginning of the season. And I think, some fans give some credence to that and say, hey, that was a tough situation to be put in. But, I think these games against Florida and Vanderbilt are really important for Heupel. It doesn't mean going to the playoff. They're already out of that mix. But I think that how your season is remembered, how the off season begins, is shaped a lot now by those 2 games. If you can get to 9-3, I think he's sitting in much better shape than going into the off season of, say, losing to Vanderbilt and everybody knowing that's how Vanderbilt got in the playoff. And I don't care how good Vanderbilt is, losing to Vanderbilt on your home field, that'd be a tough way for him to go into the offseason.
Okay. 2 quick follow-ups on that. One, do you think if he's 8-4, 9-3, kind of the same type of year, young quarterbacks but miss out on the playoffs, that he would be on a not fan hot seat but actual hot seat with Danny White? 2, you've been a Vols beat writer before. Has Vol Twitter ever been more mad at you than they are from this column when you were beat writer?
Okay, so question 1. No, there's a difference between fan angst and an administrative hot seat. I don't think Josh Heupel's not going to be on the hot seat this season. Could he be on the hot seat next season?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he has the same year next year.
Yeah, and next year, I think it's plausible. Tell me that they finish like 7-5 this year. They lose to Florida and Vanderbilt, and they go 7-5 next year. I absolutely think he's on a hot seat next year. But we don't know where the season's going to end, right? If he goes 9-3 this year, I think that decreases the possibility of him being on the administrative hot seat next year. But we've also seen how quickly fan angst can change things, right? With James Franklin, he went from not being on the hot seat to being fired in 2 weeks' time. For Brian Kelly, went from not being on the hot seat to being fired in 2 weeks' time. Josh Heupel's not going to be on any type of administrative hot seat this year. Next season, we'll see how it goes. The schedule rolls over. They add the 9th conference game. We'll see what the record ends up as this year. Point being, you guys have seen just how quickly things can change. But yeah, Danny White wants Josh Heupel to keep succeeding. There's every reason for Danny White to want Josh Heupel to thrive. So totally a difference between fan angst and hot seat. And Josh Heupel's nowhere near at this point the hot seat yet. But again, ask me again if they lose to Florida and Vanderbilt, and we'll see how next season goes. In terms of the reaction, no, this was not the pinnacle reaction of Tennessee, because the other thing is, as time has gone on, I spend less and less time on Twitter. I don't even have the app on my phone anymore, so I log in when I'm on my,
for all of us.
I log in when I'm on my desktop, and I'll put the app on my phone on Saturdays because I feel like I need it on game days. But other than that, I don't have it. But I think even taking a peek what's out there, it's not nearly as much overwhelming response as when I wrote the infamous Army column 4 years ago.
I forgot about that one.
I moved on within a few days of that. It is still living rent free, apparently, in the fan base of Vol Twitter and in the minds of some administrators. because I hear about that sometimes 4 years later, and it's like, you guys are still thinking about that 4 years from now. But what's interesting is feedback is always different from when you hear from people in formats other than social media, because I actually got some responses, quite a few responses in the inbox that were like, I was far too gracious to Josh Heupel. Hearing from some of those fans that say, turn up the heat on him. Don't try to find him another job. He's not doing his current job.
Fire him and send him out of the industry altogether, please.
Yeah, and I also heard some feedback of, my goodness, you make some good points. It would be great for Penn State. So it was sort of a mixed bag in the inbox. Vol Twitter, we all know how that goes. And then there was Fox. The one thing that caught my attention was Fox News or Fox Sports Knoxville, a radio station that I'm a friend of the station. I go on a couple of shows there, but somebody who runs their social media account did some spectacular engagement farming.
I saw that
off my column without even linking my column, but just an epic engagement farming tweet. And so that helped with Vol Twitter into a frenzy. So they kind of cheated really to get the response, but no, it was not. It was not an all-time high. The 2021 Army column, that was still pinnacle Vol Twitter. There was a couple others
Legendary
over the years as well, but I think 2021 was the peak, which was interesting because I was just coming off of being the hero of the fan base, because I was all over the end of the Pruitt era. That was like a brief window of being the Vol Twitter hero, but that was a fickle love. It eroded quickly. Yeah.
Short-lived. Blake, thanks for your time as always, sir. We appreciate so much you being with us, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Blake Toppmeyer, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. The Rex Rant coming up next. It'll be a quick one. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
I don't care, Paul. I'm going to yell and you're going to listen to it.
It both entertains and disgusts me.
Snakes! Snakes! Ah! Like what? Good Lord, Paul. Zip your pants up for Vrabel.
The lower area is perfectly covered.
What does Four Fingers do?
What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
How about my rant is me slapping you? Sometimes it does need to be violence, okay?
You can put it on the board, yes!
There's no faux outrage. You're outraging me. And mother farter, shut up.
White Sox. White Sox. Go, go, White Sox. Let's go.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Joseph, floor is yours.
For fart's sake.
Every time. Heart drop.
Woo!
Every time.
Woo!
I'm on a roller coaster.
Farting A. So, yeah. Don't have a lot of time here. Blake had a lot to say. I think Blake is feeling, maybe Blake's
He
feeling
needed to vent a little bit, I think.
Yeah. All right. So, first of all, I think Blake explained it there. I still I don't know, man. That's a really interesting thought. This isn't what I was going to rant about, but now I'm thinking about this. It's like, would it work well at Penn State? Like if Josh Heupel took his talents to State College, Pennsylvania, how would that work?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, the weather is, I guess, the only thing. Like this, I don't think anybody really runs this offense in a cold weather area, right? Like, would that be a problem once you got into? I mean, there's not that
a lot of running the football goes on in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting the numbers in your favor in the box. I mean, it's interesting. So anyway, I guess I'm sort of on board. But real fast, I just want to say I'm not going to be a total homer about this. Okay, I mean, I mean, right now I sent in my thing this week and I put Mendoza number 1, but I put Pavi number 2. I will say that we'll see how things shake out. I'm totally out on saying I'm sorry if Ohio State fans are listening. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I just can't go there with him. I'm sorry. He's good. They're incredible. I can't do it. I do want to throw a few things out. Vanderbilt is working hard, and then Vanderbilt has they got Robby Boren helping them out, which is a great move by Vanderbilt, and they're working hard to try to find ways to show, this is what you should do if you got a Heisman candidate. So here's a couple quick things, okay? He ranks 4th in the FBS in passer efficiency. He's 3rd in rushing, accounts for 69% of their total offense, 5th among Power 4 players of total offense, one of 3 Power 4 players to lead their team in passing and rushing yards. And this is an offense that leads the FBS in points per drive, 3.75. He's responsible for 72 explosive plays. That's run plays at 12 plus and passes 16 plus per true media. That's 2nd in FBS. And again, they're 11th in scoring. They're 38.3 points a game against a schedule that has 5 teams in the top 35 in scoring defense. There's just a few other things there. Their Vanderbilt's working. Again, he's got to keep doing it. He's probably got to have ridiculous numbers. And frankly, I think Blake's right. It's so those quarterbacks probably have to stink on the championship weekend. But it's also if you're a voter, I think the story does matter, and I think it should matter. I mean, I think the big picture view beyond just this is a better prospect, this person had a better yards per attempt, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I'm sorry, but all those guys, including the guy at Indiana, have more around them, a lot more around them. So I think Diego Pavia should still be in this thing.
Good news for him is half the Heisman voters of the thousands that there are sending in their votes and their ballots before conference championship.
That is no longer a thing.
Does it not?
That is no longer allowed.
Wow. Diego, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your chance is dwindling.
Yeah, that's true. It actually probably could help him, right? If it's before, just okay.
All these people have voted for some reason.
Yeah, he beat Tennessee. Let me vote for him. But no, they are now, which is a good thing. They are now not accepting, I think, until like the championship games end.
That's probably
which
good,
is the
probably a
exact
good idea.
how it always should have been.
Yeah, probably. I should have
So,
done that a long time ago.
Anyway, Pavia for Heisman, WHMR. Thank you.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Charles Robinson with us coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Thursday morning. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Make sure you check out our NFL game of the week, the Chiefs and the Broncos. Big AFC West battle coming up at 3:25 on Sunday on 102.5 The Game. NFL game of the week presented by Circa Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. We hope to be joined by Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports here in just a few minutes. Right now,
Charles
Rexrode is getting roasted on the text line.
Oh, am I?
Says one texter says, "How is Diego better than Ty Simpson? That's just crazy. He completely bleeped the bed against Alabama."
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, that's a fair thing. In fact, I mean, you probably go back to, I mean, I think I covered that game, and I think there's probably a reference in my column off that game to, first of all, that Simpson should now be ahead of him, and that's absolutely true. Look, I like Simpson definitely better than Sane as a candidate. So I'm not dismissing Simpson at all. I think we have to let things play out. But I guess we could ask Charles about this. He's a big Heisman guy.
Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in our man Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports to the program. Charles, good morning. How are you?
What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Doing awesome, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. So, Charles, I want to start on the Matt LaFleur front, and I guess we could take this out of the context of the group text message between us three where I'm just constantly complaining about him, and ask about it in all actuality. I mean, Matt Schneidman from The Athletic is writing a piece about how he's coaching for his job. He's being asked about it all week long in the press conferences. So what do you make of where things stand between Matt LaFleur and the Packers? He does not have a contract extension to this point beyond next year, nor does the general manager, by the way. How real do you think it is that they could move on from him at the end of this year?
Well, I mean, look, I don't think there's any question that it's been disappointing up until this point. I think that we've talked about this before. The consistency is just, I mean, it's all over the place. You can't, from one week to the next, I don't really know who they are. And when you look at the quality of the wins, I mean, look, the season opener in Detroit, obviously, you set a really high expectation there to handle Detroit the way that they did. But really since then, I mean, you got to win over Washington. We've seen what kind of Washington's devolved into, particularly, defensively, not a good team. Cincinnati, Arizona, Pittsburgh. There's not really a quality win beyond that Detroit game in the opener that LaFleur has under his belt, and then to lose to, Carolina and then Philly back to back, and in games where, like, offensively, it feels like Jordan Love's regressing, which you can't have. If you Matt LaFleur, you're an offensive minded guy, you're calling plays. This is supposed to be the season where Love was your MVP, right? This is when you were supposed to turn the corner, and it excuse me, hasn't happened at all. Sorry, I need a drink of water. Give me one second.
You're good.
LaFleur's dehydrated.
He's made me sick this week too. I understand how it is.
Charles, okay? Is he there? Are you still there?
Like 100 years old here. I need to get myself a drink of water now.
Big gulp of prune juice and get back at it.
Good Lord, what is going on in my life?
Prune juice, huh? Have you voluntarily drank prune juice?
No, my grandpa used to always have prune juice in the fridge.
Okay, I'm good. I actually had a drink of water. Now I'm back at 100%.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, so look, is he coaching for his job? I still think the Packers are a playoff team. I think the remainder of the schedule, obviously, I don't think it's that daunting. Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy is a beatable team right now, and that's on your schedule twice, right? Chicago, I still think Chicago is not. I don't think they're where they're going to be next year. There's still. This to me is still sort of a progression season for Chicago. They're on your schedule twice. Those are winnable games. Baltimore is rebounding right now. he's still got the ability, I think, to turn it around. But yeah, I mean, it's critical. And, the money that was invested, particularly on defense, the Super Bowl is the expectation. So, if he falls short of that, if it is a playoff team and they don't make the Super Bowl, I don't know that you could fire Matt LaFleur, but, next season's the referendum. That's it. There's not going to be an extension there for him. It's going to be like Mike McCarthy in Dallas last year, right? Where we're like, this guy getting extended. You can't fire him because, geez, he's put together a couple of winning seasons. No, I think that the expectations and the salary load where it is now, and honestly, even Love's development suggests that, LaFleur's definitely, I think, coaching for his job. I think through 2026, though. I don't think. You guys tell me you're going to fire him. Let's say he has a winning record. Let's say they make the playoffs. So even if it's a, bottom rung seed, you going to fire him? You can fire him after that season? I don't see it.
I guess it just depends on what do they think about a head coach entering into a year basically lame duck, has no contract. What do they think about that? Because some people just absolutely hate that idea. I don't know. I don't know what their viewpoint on that would be.
Yeah, everybody doesn't do it the way Dallas did it, right?
Most teams don't.
So
right?
let me cut you off real quick. So let's say they get the playoffs and they lose, like they lose in the first round. And I know I'm asking you because Robby just, he just wants him fired so bad. But I do think that I would not be surprised given the amount of time and, like you said, all they put in on the defense. And then I want to take it a step further, Charles. If that is the case, okay, how coveted would he be? Because obviously Titans fans around here are like, sure, fire him. Robby wants him to be in his town.
Yeah, that's
have him on the show.
That's right.
I don't know that I would think Stefanski, honestly. So let's say we're like slotting guys, right? I would still slot Stefanski ahead of him based on what Stefanski has done in the past with the situation he's been handed, right? I think LaFleur would be probably attractive as, man, I don't know if that's a good question. I don't know if he'd be instantly attractive as a head coach, or if he'd need a gap year, if he'd be instantly attractive as an OC. I know the Packers job, you want to open it. It's going to be extremely coveted right away. So my question for you is, Joe, if you're going to fire him and you're the Packers, then what's your approach then? What's your approach heading into the offseason, right? Like you don't want to fire him without having an idea of what you want, where you want to go with this job, right? And really, realistically, because it's the Packers, because the roster is in the state that it's in, you should have your pick of the litter. You should be able to go out and get anybody. I mean, it's a cornerstone franchise. It's even though it is in Green Bay, still it's considered like one of those foundational teams in the NFL where the job is coveted because it's the Green Bay Packers of all places. And it has a roster ready to win right now. It's got a quarterback. It's got, young pieces, has great defense in terms of the talent load. You should be able to get whoever you want. So then what in your mind is what's your goal in terms of your hire for the Packers? Who's out there where you're like, all right, let's fire Matt LaFleur so we can go get that guy?
Don't ask me. Who do you want,
Well,
Robby?
I don't know that there's great options out there right now, right? Like we've talked about that with the Titans job. Like there are not a ton of great coaches available.
Right. And I think that's something you have to actually think about, right? I mean, it's realistic because I don't know, if you're the Packers, you're not going to go to hey, let's go get Clint Kubiak. Let's go get let's go pick a coordinator, who's having a hot season type of situation. I think if you're the Packers, you're like, no, we need a seasoned coach who's got a heck of a resume and we can go win a Super Bowl immediately with that guy. I don't think you gamble that roster on, someone that's unproven at this point. And I don't think, it'd be crazy if you go get like Mike McCarthy for that job. He's already had that job. You can't do that again. So you're right. I mean, don't you think, I think you factor that. Like you're like, okay, we're going to fire this guy. Who are the candidates out there? It's the same deal with the quarterbacks. Let's get rid of the quarterback. Okay, well, what are your options? Your options aren't great. Maybe getting rid of the quarterback's not a great idea. So, and Joe, to answer your question about Matt I'm sure he would be coveted for some jobs, especially like an OC type of situation. I don't know that he would be immediately coveted for a head coaching situation. Now, obviously, there's some ties there in terms of, inside the Titans organization. It's not like he's a known commodity in multiple different ways. And by the way, not just because he worked for the Titans at one point. Obviously, there's Green Bay ties there too. So that would certainly be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting. Is that what you want, Robby? Do you want him? You want him as a?
He'll take a quality control dude from the Jets over LaFleur at this point.
I'd hire you.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised. I'm honestly a little bit surprised to hear you say that, Charles, that he wouldn't necessarily be like immediately coveted as a head coach. To me, that answer from you makes me think it makes me think a little less of him / more like he might be, right? Like I guess a guy with that kind of record and with the clear development of Love, like the early days of Jordan Love in that franchise. Yeah, and also, my gosh, he put Malik Willis on the field, made him look like a great quarterback. I don't know, man. I figured he would be a little more coveted than that.
You don't think that the Love, like what's happened with Love this season, like I don't. This is
might cut against him. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
you got to factor that in. Like I don't know if I would say clear development. Like Love has not arrived. Like he has not planted his flag, and you're like, okay, we're done with this idea that Love needs to be a better player. It's been a very disappointing season for him, and I have not put that all on him. I still think there's aspects of how that team. I'm never been thrilled with what's gone on at wide receiver. I feel like they're like, hey, let's have a stable of 2s and 3s, and it's felt like that or let's keep hoping Christian Watson can stay healthy and turn a corner, and that's just gone on and on and on. They're like, hey, let's bring him back in 2026 too. Let's make that commitment. Like that has bothered me. Obviously, when Tucker Kraft went down, anybody who'd done any work on the Packers, like advanced work, I remember when he had the injury, I wasn't watching at the time that he suffered the injury, but I had somebody text me from another team, and they were like, hey, this is huge. Like this could potentially change their offense. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And he's like, Tucker Kraft just, probably is done for the season. And, so it's troubling, I think, sometimes the way that, you look at what Love has been working with, and that can hamper your development as a quarterback. But I've expected more at this point. I didn't think this team could be this anemic on offense. Like it's just so bizarre to watch them. And then again, I brought this up before. I don't know if it's a maturity thing where you don't have consistency from one week to the next. Like it doesn't feel like a mature veteran-led team when you're kind of bouncing back and forth between looking good and then just coming out and scoring, 13 points against the Carolina Panthers. Like that to me is still one of the most inexplicable things I've seen in a long time. That game, I was just stunned at how they looked. The Cleveland game too, when, you score 10 points against the Browns and you have a complete epic collapse. I almost feel like they haven't recovered kind of since then, right? Like that was such a shock when that happened.
Sounds like you're talking yourself into firing Matt LaFleur.
I told you before, I just told you. I said, look, I don't think he's been disappointing. Like, yeah, I can't find his replacement yet, and I would love him to be in Tennessee to drive Robby.
Weekly guest
crazy.
On the show.
Oh, Robby would, he'd be, as long as he gets him away from his team. This has been a great Green Bay Packers sort of therapy session.
So
this was run on Green Bay radio this morning.
Yep. But you had to you brought Cleveland into it, by the way. I just want to point out that you are the one who invoked a Cleveland Browns coach in our conversation. We did not ask you about it.
So we look forward to this making the rounds
for the record
later.
That's right.
A little bit later.
That's right.
Speaking of former Titans, AJ Brown, another game with Philadelphia where they win the game. They do, I guess, just enough offensively in that game with the way their defense was playing. But another game where AJ Brown's basically a non-factor. He sounded off on the Twitch stream the other night, and then had the press conference yesterday where he I thought it was a good press conference by him yesterday where he's basically like, we can't keep playing this way and think we're just going to magically win by the time the playoffs come around. So what do you make of where things stand with AJ Brown and the Eagles?
I was glad that he finally put a little more clarity to it, right? Because the Twitch stream thing, I'm like, God, like we need to get more guys playing video games and just pay attention to what they're saying when they're playing video games, because we're I feel like more and more stuff is coming from these oddball places where guys get comfortable, and then next thing you know, there's a headline attached to it. And at the time when I first heard it and I'm listening to it, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, what is what is the problem here? And I was telling Andrew Siciliano yesterday when we were doing the podcast, I said, I feel like in the past when things like this happen, I always run and look at the contract situation, because I'm like, it's got to be, this confluence of age, what he's getting paid, his annual average value, or wherever maybe his guaranteed money's run out. And that has to be what's driving this. But it's not with AJ. He's paid. Like, he's got guaranteed money. Like, there's financially, that's not the issue. I'm like, okay, well, so then this really is, it's just an ego thing. Like, the guy's like, feed me, I want the ball. It's Roma Dunze's dad, the squeaky wheel gets oiled. But then, he comes out yesterday and he says what I actually agree with, which is, as Robby said, this idea that, like, basically paraphrasing here, we're not pulling our end of the bargain. We're not holding it up. Like, we're winning games right now, but we're not a contributing part of this, and we can't keep getting away with that. I agree 100%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind when I watch Philly in an NFC where I think in these playoffs, I think there's any teams capable in this. I don't look at, like, even Seattle, I think is a little juggernauty, but every team in the NFC, I'm like, there's some kind of flaw, or they've laid a couple of eggs, or there's, something there to doubt this team. It's not like Philly last year where you're like, man, they're hitting green lights, but they're looking great doing it. And I don't know anybody's going to be able to stop them running the ball. Well, they can't run the ball consistently. They're not throwing the ball, downfield in terms of like chunks and explosives consistently. The line's kind of, for the first time in a while, at times has not been, the perfect standard, the gold standard that we thought. And yeah, he's right. I absolutely think that, if Philly plays like this offensively, they're going to get beat in the playoffs. And, I was telling Andrew, I said, it just continues to me to feel like someone in that building has got to put this together, has to get everybody in a room, whether it's Howie Roseman, whether it's Sirianni, who's obviously sick of talking about this, but he's got to get, he's got to get the quarterback. He's got to get Hurts in the room with AJ and Saquon and say, look, what are we doing scheme wise? What's missing here? Because we got to fix this before we get to, January. But here's the thing too. We do this every single November. Players do it too, where there's this like complaining about certain teams or moaning and groaning about this isn't working, that's not working. And, and then these peaking teams in November, we're all excited about them. Oh, they're playing so great. They're putting it together. And then come the end of December, the peaking team has now kind of flattened out a little bit, and the struggled one has kind of gotten itself together. I look at Philly, and I'm sorry, Robby, but I look at like Green Bay, these teams that are struggling right now. I'm kind of like, maybe it's not the worst thing, because they can get to the end of December. And if you're peaking at the end of December, everything's going to be fine. And that's when you want to be hitting your stride. Philly's winning games without hitting their stride. And there's a silver lining to that, but you also can't, carry these same problems into the playoffs. It's like Minnesota last year when we saw them lose to Detroit at the end of the season. We're like, oh God, like I hope this isn't the team that carries this into the playoffs. And that's what happened. And that's how they ended up losing to the Rams. And so I don't know. I've done this so long, I don't get it. It's like Andrew Siciliano called him a malcontent yesterday. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, call AJ Brown a malcontent? I feel like I'm used to wideouts complaining, right? Like T.O. was way worse than this in Philly. Like it was way, and that was like a team that went to the Super Bowl. It was way worse than AJ Brown's been. And yet, we're getting out of joint. And I know I've gone on a tangent here. I will say one thing. This is about covering the NFL. Sirianni complained about getting asked this question about AJ Brown. He's so sick of answering the question. There was a time in the NFL when we would, as like local reporters, national, whatever, you would go into a locker room and there'd be 20, 30 guys in open locker room, right? and you'd be able to chase a bunch of different stories, go in a bunch of different directions. You go into an open locker room now, half a dozen guys if you're lucky, and if you're really lucky, then some of them might be starters. So you end up harping on the same stuff over and over and over. Or the one guy who decides he's going to make himself available over and over and over gets written about. This is like a pocket complaint of mine about the NFL. The more they have strangled the ability of people to get to know people on the roster and have open locker rooms that mean things, the more you write about A.J. Brown 15 times during the course of the season because you really have nothing else to chase. So Nick Sirianni can take that and stick it in his pipe and smoke it.
There we go.
That's a very good point. It'd be great if people could listen to that, who can make things like that better. But no, I mean it's changed a lot. So Charles, I want to on the back, I guess, on the topic of marketability. Brian Daboll, New York Giants, he's out. He's done.
Yeah.
Somehow Joe Shane is not yet. But how is he viewed around the league? And again, a lot of my questions kind of tie back to the opening here with the Titans. First of all, like, is he? It seems to me like he would be a guy who would need a gap year or need to be an OC again or something like that. But maybe not. Well, how is he viewed, and how do you assess like what all went down there? It seems like one thing he needs to do is stay the hell out of the medical tent.
Yeah, that's, you joke about that, but like, you want to talk about the moment of desperation this season where you're kind of like looking back, like, oh man, yeah, that guy really has, his job's been on the line. Like when you enter the medical tent, you're probably raising the flag that like, hey guys, I think I might be fired at any moment. And you know, I think that it's the reason why I think he needs a gap year. I think offensively, there was not any creativity there, right? Like he's another guy who we thought, oh, he developed Josh Allen, and you know, that's the very top of his resume, and he'll always be coveted because of that. I think that shine kind of wore off, and I don't think it helps him to see Daniel Jones go elsewhere and, you know, thrive. I know Daniel Jones obviously had the initial season when he was there, but that's just like Tua having the initial season under Mike McDaniel. That only lasts for so long. Like you have to be able to take this to another level. He's never been able to do that at the quarterback spot. I think, you know, when Jackson Dart got in there, even some of the ways he fawned over Jackson Dart publicly, I think there were definitely some people in the league who are like, man, he's just, pull it back a little bit. It's a rookie quarterback, man. like don't get over your skis on this guy, because there's a lot of season left to be played, and no matter how much you love him, you can't just go out in front of the media and basically be like, this is the greatest thing to happen to our franchise, which is how it felt. Like some of the things Daboll was saying, I'm like, man, this is just, it felt so out of character and in some ways really desperate. Yeah, I think he's going to have to go elsewhere. He's going to have to be an OC. He might get another shot at a job. I don't think it was all his fault there. I think, you know, if the Saquon mistake had not been made, maybe things are different. I'm a little worried at how, I don't want to put this all on him because I think a lot of it is Dart, but Dart has put himself into situations where the guy's like, he's going to end up being knocked out for the season with a concussion if this keeps up. And it was worrisome how many times it felt like that was happening in a Giants game. You can only scheme it so many ways, and you can only tell a guy, don't use this athleticism you have. So it is on the kid too. But, you know, I think ownership was a little worried about that too. Just like the mentality of Jackson Dart and whether or not Daboll is capable of saying, hey, we got to keep you safe. We got to keep you healthy. We got to keep you in games. And, you know, oh, by the way, our head coach is the same one who tried to pull you basically out of a medical tent and put you back on the field as quickly as possible. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not been, since that first season in New York, it's just been this sort of de-evolution with him. And I still think there's, you know, a good coach in there, but the creativity is something that a lot of teams are going to look at. And it's the same, you know, Matt LaFleur, people are going to complain about the play calling and the creativity. And, you know, that's a big deal now. And I think that's going to be a barrier for him when it comes to the next job. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to have a head job right away.
Charles, the first time that LaFleur's on our show as head coach of the Titans, we'll make sure you're in with us. We'll just do a 4-man show that day.
That'd be awesome.
Man,
We can all rip the Browns.
Oh yeah, there you go. Let's do that. Now, see, I didn't bring him up there, so I didn't. That's on you, man.
We need to start what's the station so we know just who to send the clips to. We can just make it.
You don't need to send it; they find it.
I don't
yeah,
make it easier on them.
I'll tell you what, they are good though at the investigative work they do. What's with you guys? How come when I'm talking about the Titans on Cleveland radio, you guys pull the clip?
Good question.
That's a fair point. Send it to
Good
us.
question.
Did you say anything good?
You guys are getting embarrassed here. Were you going to ask me about the Heisman? What's going on with the Heisman?
No, I mean, unless you have a real strong take or something. I just kept talking about the Heisman. But
great explanation.
Yeah. Who's your Heisman winner, Charles?
I was like a Hemingway right there.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, it's got to be Mendoza. Come on, what are we doing here?
Okay,
you don't think Mendoza?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's my number one right now. Yeah, but I'm just saying that Diego Pavia should still be. He should still
in the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
In the mix.
Yes.
Here we go.
So we'll see.
And the quarterback from Indiana is potentially going to be the top pick in the draft. I mean, like that's
pretty wild.
And I never in my life would have thought that could ever happen. And it could be justified too. It's not like it's anything crazy. That's why he's playing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Charles, thank you, sir, for being with us. We appreciate so much your time and your perspective, and we will talk to you next week, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in with me after I woke up dusty and needed to obviously hydrate for the first time in 24 hours. So
that was awesome. I appreciate it. Glad we got to experience that together.
Keep drinking that water. See you, man.
I'll talk to you later.
Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. Will react to what Charles had to say. A lot of your thoughts to get to as well. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Looking for a great spot to pregame before the Titans-Texans game this Sunday? Stop by John Bon Jovi's and pregame with 102.5 The Game. JBJ's has the best food on Broadway, cold beer, and cocktails, stunning skyline views, including 2 epic rooftops. Pregame show brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. Appreciate Charles Robinson for being with us in the last segment. A lot of different things on the Charles Robinson front there to get to. Let's start on the LaFleur front. So, obviously, Titans fans are paying attention, and you're talking about potential coaching openings at the end of the year. And we've said this, like, the more coaches that are available, better off that is for the Titans. You get that pool going, and, we'll see what that ends up looking like. Look, there's still time for Matt LaFleur and the Packers to turn things around, and who knows, maybe they go on some Super Bowl run.
Well, he's right, though, about that,
he's
right?
coaching for the next 15 years.
Plenty of teams struggle at this time of year, and then they figure it out.
Exactly.
It happens.
So, they've got Jameis and the Giants this weekend. They may win by 20 and then move on from there. We'll see what happens. But there's a chance. Like, he's being peppered left and right this week about his job. So there's a chance that LaFleur is available at the end of the year. If that were the case, would Titans fans be excited about that? Would that be your target? I've seen some Titans fans this week be like, yes, please. Fire Matt LaFleur, and we will bring him in. I disagree with Charles a little bit there. Like, I think if he wanted to, he could have another job pretty quickly as a head coach in the National Football League.
Yeah, I would think so too. It was almost like basically Charles's 2 answers to that to me didn't really go together. That's kind of what I was driving at. I was like, okay, so you're basically, you're saying, okay, maybe next year's the hot seat. Okay, but then also you don't think that teams would want him right now if he got fired? I mean, I
think it just depends on the situation.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He's right that like the Dallas McCarthy thing would be exactly the same situation, but some teams don't do that.
Some teams don't like that. Like there are some teams that say you either make the decision to extend a guy when there's 1 year left or you fire him. You don't come in with the lame duck year. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I mean,
in college football, it's more of a deal.
Yeah, because you're talking about recruiting and all sorts of things at that point. But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see the way it goes. I mean, the Love conversation is all over the place right now. He was bad on Monday night. It was 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football where he completed 20 passes in a row and threw for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, I think largely he's been fine this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like at this point, I guess based on a couple years ago, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they like bombed Dallas in the playoffs on the road?
It's 2 years ago.
Yeah. Like, I guess at that point, if you said, okay, fast forward to right now, what is Jordan Love? I probably would have said he's a clear top 5 QB in the league.
Right. And he's not that.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, again, as you go through the numbers, he's
still good.
69% of his passes, 2,200 yards, 8 yards an attempt, 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. I mean, some of the discourse this week has been unbelievable.
They just had some terrible offensive games.
Yeah. How much more of a ceiling do we think there is for Jordan Love at this point, given how long he's been in the league? How much better can he get?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's a good player.
Is there someone else that can unlock?
If he can be his best version, you can win it all with him for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So isn't that what it's about? Like sometimes we get in these discussions and it's like I default to the, I feel like people are so much more consumed with we need a franchise quarterback than the point, which is we're trying to win a championship. Like the Bills, they got their franchise quarterback. Okay, let me know when you win it all. Chargers have it, right?
Yeah.
Let me know. Ravens, let me know. Eagles, people say, okay, well, they're working on another ring. Yeah. So you tell me what you prefer. But I think Jordan Love, I don't know if he's ever going to be like top. But again, I think he's played like his best that we've seen. We've seen enough of it that should be able to win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
as long as you fire Matt LaFleur and get a good coach in there. There you go. That's the answer, right?
I can't wait till the Titans hire him. It's gonna be awesome. Great day on the show. We'd have to get him on the first day. Matt, you got to come in for 30 minutes. I'm sorry, at least. Got a lot of things we got to talk about.
Matt, we rip Vrabel a lot. Would you be our friend and come in here?
I don't get the. I don't know this, but I don't get the impression those two like each other very much.
Yeah, like I don't know if LaFleur dislikes Vrabel. I don't know. You would know more than me, as he made a little snide
No.
comment here and there. But I don't think Vrabel. I don't think, like, when LaFleur got hired away, I think the reaction of the buddy was like, "What?" And it was like, "All right, see you, dude." It was fine, like, you know. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I mean, LaFleur's one season here was underwhelming. Now, granted, his first game as OC, Marcus got his nerves rearranged in his body, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to remember that he had that all year.
Yeah.
But, hey, got the Packers job. Good
He
for
did.
you. Bully for you.
The A.J. Brown situation in Philadelphia, interesting as well. I mean, they keep winning games, but, I mean, go look at his numbers. A.J. Brown, through 8 games, has 31 catches, 408 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, there have been like 2-week spans in the league in his career where he's had 408 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it is interesting how that's going in Philadelphia right now. I would imagine at some point along the way here, he's going to have some game where he catches like 9 passes for 200 yards and just absolutely torches people out there. But that's the other thing. Like, he's got 408 yards on the season through 8 games, and he's had 2 games where he's had 109 and 121, which means the rest of them you're talking 8 yards, 7 yards, 80 yards, 13 yards this past week against Green Bay. It's pretty wild.
So I didn't see the press conference you referenced there, but good for him, because I agree with him. I understand it's the receiver malcontent and all this stuff. And AJ,
he's a little dramatic.
Sure, there's no question. It doesn't take long for him to flip out at times, and it's like, it's not. I'm sure it's not productive, but I don't think he's wrong. I mean, like, how are
if they keep playing this way, they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're not going to win it all unless they lean in on some of their strengths that they don't seem to be able to do too often on offense.
Which is kind of amazing, though, because, like, you look at their roster and, they've got all these jumbo packages they keep trotting out there, and I get it. They're trying to open up Saquon. But it's like they've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith out there. Like, throw the ball. Yeah, I don't get it.
I hear you. It's weird how – and I guess, like, they just played the Packers in an absolute grinder, and with both teams have a ton of talent on offense. And they have talent on defense too, but, like, both teams, like, they go through stretches like, how are you struggling this much on offense?
Yeah.
It should not look like that.
Big game versus the Lions this week. Sunday nighter. Should be
Sunday
a
night
good game.
football.
It's actually a good chance for AJ to get right. That might be the AJ get right game. Gets that Lions secondary.
Target him 17 times.
Philly favored by 2.5.
Okay.
I was going to ask Charles about the Rams being possibly the best team in the NFC.
Also another good game this week.
Yeah. Rams Seahawks is huge. So Jordan Rodriguez, friend of the show, my coworker at The Athletic, she broke this down after they killed the Niners. 46%, they were in 13 personnel.
Yeah.
3 tight end look. And their success rate with 13 personnel was off the charts, which is crazy because, I mean, the Rams, so that's 13 personnel is 1 back, it's 3 tight ends, that's 1 receiver. I mean, the Rams have Puka and Devontae.
Who are both playing very well, by the way.
Who are both playing very well, but in 13 personnel, they played for half a game and then destroyed the Niners with it, which is really fascinating, but also it's like, well, Sean McVay may know a little bit about ball.
That's the reason everybody that was in his general vicinity at one point got a job in the NFL, including Matt LaFleur. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. More reaction to Charles Robinson to get to coming up next. Chasing Big Joe broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday prior to the Monday Night Football game. Monday night matchup is the Cowboys taking on the Raiders. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in. Final segment of the day. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, let me ask you. If Matt LaFleur becomes available at the end of the year, is he your number one target for the Tennessee Titans?
You know who his best friend is in the NFL? His absolute best friend. I did a story on him long ago when he was the Titans, and I talked to this guy. They are best friends going back to like when they were like 19, 20 years old. I would take his best friend over
Saleh?
him. Yes.
Yep.
Robert Saleh's his best friend. They were at Central Michigan together under Brian Kelly a long time ago, and I would still I know it's
Saleh
like
head coach, LaFleur OC?
Well, that'd be all right. I mean, some people would, and that, I guess that's feasible. I still think there'd be more of a market for him than Charles does. And I think some people, honestly, that's a take by me that some people could jump all over, and you would have a lot of ammo because like LaFleur has done way more as a head coach than Saleh. But I'm giving him the opposite of whatever the tax is. I'm giving Saleh the Jets rebate. And I just think I think that over time he will prove to be a better head coach than Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
But that's a little bit of a gamble.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, let's just go Mike McCarthy.
Always comes back to him.
Yeah.
I thought you were a Nagy guy.
No, I'm not. I think Nagy does. I think he's a little bit disrespected for the Bears tenure. And I'm not down. He's down my list. So Saleh's been the top of my list. LaFleur would be a strong 2 if he were fired. And then probably, I think I might go Nagy over Arthur Smith. I understand the whole idea of Arthur Smith, knowing the people here and things like that. There's some value in that for sure. But it really hasn't gone all that well for him since he left here. And there's a lot of things that go into that. Not blaming him for all of it, of course, sure. But it hasn't gone great.
No.
And right now, I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about those Steelers.
They might fall apart in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
That very well could happen.
Yeah.
It's a division that's not that good. You get the Ravens, who have won 3 in a row now. Burrow apparently is coming back. Like, if you told me now that Pittsburgh fell apart and didn't win the division after leading by 2-3 games, however much it was a couple weeks ago, I'd believe it.
Yeah, good, because I told you that weeks ago. You should have believed me then.
You did. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that part of it plays out. Let me just go ahead and put this out there. I don't think LaFleur would come here. I don't have any inside knowledge on that. I think if he got fired by Green Bay, his next stop would be at a place that he feels pretty confident he can win. I don't know how that could be here based on what is currently involved.
Yeah.
Other than, I guess, if he just saw something in the second half of the year where he was just absolutely in love with Cam Ward, then maybe. But I don't think he would come here.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that there'd be enough jobs more attractive. But that's the whole point, as you've been saying a lot, like get as many people in there.
Get as many people in there as you can.
See if somebody would hire Dayball.
Yep.
Or again, he could be a good OC candidate. A couple of people on the text and YouTube chat talking about LaFleur's tenure here. Well, first of all, someone said he's the guy who played David Fluellen, flu season over Derrick Henry. I don't know that was necessarily LaFleur. I think that was a Vrabel thing as much as it was a LaFleur thing. Timothy on the YouTube chat said, wasn't LaFleur the same guy at OC who played Murray and Lewis? You talking about DeMarco Murray?
And Deion Lewis, yep.
DeMarco Murray, first of all, was the best back in the NFL in 2016 before he got hurt. So
I think he was going by the time.
And also LaFleur was not the OC then. But yes, look, the Lewis over Derrick Henry was a very real thing. Also, he was better than him that year. Go back and until Derrick Henry went nuts at the end of the year, that changed his entire career.
Deion Lewis got too worried about blocking everybody on Twitter.
He did.
Still blocked by Deion Lewis. Never said a word to the guy.
Should have blocked for Derrick Henry. Yeah, you still blocked?
Yeah.
Am I blocked? Are we all blocked?
I think we are.
I'm going to check right now.
That does it for us today.
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Here on the program. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.